What's up, everyone? Bill Stevens here. And if you're a band director and you want to learn to write an effective handbook for your band program, then this video is the one for you. So let's dive in. If you've been a band director for any number of years, you know that there are a ton of responsibilities that we have to manage to keep our programs running efficiently. A solid handbook is essential to keep everyone involved in your program on the same page. Here are 3 important goals your handbook should accomplish. First, the handbook should be a compilation of documents that effectively communicates to your students and parents who you are, what your program is about, and what you expect and what values you uphold. For example, you might include a section outlining your program's mission statement, core values such as teamwork and dedication, and expectations for student behavior and performance. Second, the handbook should provide a sense of clarity and understanding to your principal about the philosophy of your program. This can include details on your teaching methods, the importance of music education, and how your program supports the school's overall educational goals. For instance, you might explain how participating in band helps students develop discipline, teamwork, and time management skills. Third, the handbook should act as a contract between you and your students and their parents or guardians to ensure that expectations, policies, and procedures are clear and agreed upon. This can include a section where both parents and students sign off, acknowledging that they have read and understood the handbook's contents. My name is Bill Stevens, and I'm a middle school band director with over a decade of experience also in the high school area. If you're anything like me, you hope that the efforts you put into your program bring your students the best and most positive experience while also teaching them long-lasting skills that they can take into any aspect of their life outside of your program. To achieve the success we want, we have to be super organized. So here are some of the most important things that I believe should be in your band handbook. Whether you've been teaching for a long time, you're in the first few years, or even you're about to start your first year, I hope to bring you some insight and value to you. If that's the case, be sure to hit that like button. Let's get going. The first thing you should have in your band handbook is a nice cover page that has your school logo and says the name of your school, your program, and your name as the director. This immediately lets families know who the handbook is from and what it's for, and establishes a sense of branding for your program. For example, you might design a cover with your school's colors, logo, and photo of your band performing. Next, there should be a table of contents. This helps families easily navigate to certain parts of your handbook to find answers to questions they may have. For instance, if a parent wants to know about performance dates, they can quickly find the relevant section without flipping through the entire handbook. Then, there should be a letter from you, the director. This is the very first thing that families will read in your entire handbook. So it really gives you the opportunity to make a strong first impression. In this letter, welcoming back returning families to your program, as well as welcoming your new families. Briefly state the philosophy of your program, the values that your program stands for, and some other things that you feel really highlight your program. For example, you may write about the joy of making music together and the pride in watching students grow as musicians and individuals. Next, include a list of different ensembles that are offered within your program. This could be concert band, wind ensemble, advanced band, beginning band, jazz band, marching band, percussion ensemble, chamber ensemble, and so on. Include which periods those ensembles take place, a brief summary of each one, and some of the skills that students will learn and how they will be challenged in each ensemble. For instance, you might describe how the jazz band focuses on improvisation and swing rhythms, while the concert band works on classical and contemporary repertoire. The next page in your band handbook should outline your grading system. Students want to get good grades and do well in their classes. So having your grading system mapped out lets students know exactly what they need to do to earn a good grade in your class. If you choose to use a point-based system, be sure to include point values for things like rehearsals, performances, performance exams, concert reports, etc. Also be sure to include if tardies or absences will affect grades in any way. For example, you might assign 10 points for each rehearsal, 50 points for each performance, and 20 points for concert reports. After that, include a list of responsibilities, expectations, and policies that your students should adhere to. Being present on time and having instruments and music at every rehearsal is a given, but students should always have a pencil with them as well. They should also know how to set up before rehearsal and tear down at the end. If you have a student leadership team, give information on responsibilities for specific roles that students may play. Decide how technology will be used in your classroom so you have the management over things like phones and tablets. Lastly, communicate to your students about proper rehearsal and performance etiquette, especially professionalism, and what you expect from them every single day. The habits you build inside your classroom are going to be a direct reflection of your program when you are outside of your classroom. Always strive to cultivate a positive environment for your students because they will take that attitude everywhere they go. Next, include a page with information on how parents can help within your program. Give details about your boosters, leadership opportunities within your boosters, and fundraising events that parents can help organize and run. Include ways that they can assist their child's practice at home. For example, you might suggest that parents listen to their child practice and provide encouragement, or help the organization with a bake sale to raise funds for new instruments. Now, one of the most important things to include in your band handbook is your master schedule. This is a complete list of every rehearsal, performance, fundraiser, event, trip, and everything else your students and parents are expected to attend throughout the entire school year. This includes dates, locations, and times for every single event. These events should be planned before the beginning of the school year so that everyone involved in your program knows exactly what their commitment is throughout the entire year. This will save you from a lot of communication issues with people not knowing when or where things are. When everyone has a very clear list of everything happening throughout the whole year, then everyone is more likely to stay on the same page. And finally, the very last page of your handbook should be your contract form. This is where your students and parents or guardians sign, stating that they have read and understand, number one, your expectations that are written in your handbook, and number two, their commitment through the entire year. Be sure to collect these signed forms from your students because if concerns come up throughout the year about your policies and procedures, you have documentation that points directly back to your handbook and you have signatures of everyone involved stating that they have read and understood it. Of course, there are tons of other great things to include in your handbook, but I believe these should be the core of what to include. Let me know in the comments if you include anything that I discussed in this video in your own handbook, and be sure to show how you present it in your own way. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it or it was helpful to you, be sure to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the Music Educator YouTube channel so you don't miss any future content from me.